What sparked that $100 bet between you and Scott?
It was just something that I threw in at the end of my presentation there that I did for, I think it was the 48th overall pick or 49th overall pick, the one and only, the first and likely only 49th overall pick.
I want to offer him a side bet of one Benjamin Franklin. One Ben Franklin. If you accept the challenge to whoever wins more regular season games this year.
Scott and I have always battled throughout the years, and it's very interesting how the teams have shifted afterwards of the true fallout of that, because Scott truly went all out to get a victory there and has completely derailed the Dynasty Champions in the process. But I don't know, it made the games like pretty crazy that year, because like I always remember one, like I would have locked up the bet, but like a Monday night Packers and Bears game where Trubisky scored like a touchdown that didn't matter at the end, and Chris beat me because the Bears went for two, got the 2-point conversion, and Chris beat me by like less than 2 points, so like, which I think might have locked up me beating Scott within the bet. And we ended up tying, and I think that was kind of fun because we ended up playing each other in like the third place game. So it's kind of funny how that all ended up. Yeah, it made it a pretty crazy year.
Alex Boydock, he's kind of known to be an interesting character. He can rub people the wrong way, just the way he always messes with our Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, there's no auditing in place. He might be crunching numbers, giving people bad salaries. So, I just felt like he needed his ego taken down a notch, and like, what's better than just taking $100 from him for free? He thought he had a better team than me. I clearly thought I had a better team than him. So I was like, all right, Alex, let's roll.
I'll be honest, I had the Green Machine on that one. They've been consistently in the league, making the playoffs almost every year. No shade to the Dynasty Champions. They had a pretty good team together that year, but the Green Machine, they seemed pretty unstoppable at times. I thought they probably had the edge there.
I actually thought it was good for the league because, you know how like people like to talk in the league, and there was two teams that like to yap, and they put their money where their mouth are. So I thought that particular season was a good one, and not only because of them, like I say, backing up their talk and with some money, but those were two teams that you really didn't know who was going to win. And once the season got rolling, once Scott made this trade, they ended up tying. So it obviously was against two good teams. Nowadays, I don't think Scott would take that bet. But that season, it was, and it did add on some extra entertainment for the league. Good on Scott for taking it.
I thought it was great for the league. I mean, I had a blast with it. I wish it was still going on. I mean, there's usually a beef between either one of those two guys or the commish with anybody else. And no, the more of that, the better. I think during this interview, I've been overly nice to people, which is not quite my rep, but I'm hoping that beefs continue, and a little ugliness is good, right? I mean, wouldn't you agree? It's fun.
I am partial to drama in the league. I love it. I think it adds intrigue. I think it adds week-to-week storylines. I think we need more drama. I think we need to artificially create drama between owners. Sources say Mr. B and Mr. H are feuding. Let them figure it out. So I'm all about it. I think more drama, the better.
I appreciate the drama. But when I see an $100 bet, just doesn't get me going. Do you see what I made off the league this season? Do you see what the kind of money I've made in this league in the last 9 years? How much money I've made from bonuses and championships? And I see an $100 bet. It's like pennies. Step it up. Put some more on the line, and then I'll follow a little more closely. But until then, you're just two non-contenders feuding over some petty bullshit. So come see me when you got some real drama.
It's just what we need. We need those side bets to cast a bigger flame in the league. I think that's what makes the league so special. I'm saddened that they haven't made any more side bets like that, or any side bets like that have been made probably ever since that time. I think that it just adds so much more liveliness to the experience for everybody, and it continues to create memories, history moments in our league that we'll remember.
Did this bet influence you at all when you were looking at making that blockbuster trade for Dalvin Cook and Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I can't lie, I definitely did. I wanted to win the bet, one, but even more so to get the first championship for the Dynasty Champions, and I thought that would put me over the top. I had made a trade for David Johnson earlier in that year that I thought, like, all right, here's a step in the right direction, and then Dalvin and Amari, I thought that was really going to do it.
I think I was a little bit concerned at the time and thinking that I needed a little bit of an answer, because he was truly like loading up and like selling out like for the bet, and obviously for a championship that year as well. But I did respond with the Derek Carr trade in the end, which I think ended up losing me a semifinal game against Ryan because Derek Carr pulled his groin or something stupid. That one still nags at me. So, but with Scott, I mean, I wasn't overly concerned. I guess they were good players to add to the team, but I mean, hell, like right now he'd probably trade T. Higgins back for Amari Cooper and Dalvin Cook if he could. So I don't know. It's still amazing how much he's sold out for it, and it's definitely tanked his team for the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, I just like with regards to that bet in between Alex and I in 2020. I think that was the best year our league had, and it kind of goes into my main point here in that I'm definitely the most important person this league has. So I don't think this league would survive without me, and first of all, how awesome I am, how well known the Dynasty Champion brand is. Deep diving with the DCs was a huge hit. If you just look at the views compared to those other lesser known podcasts out there that season, then Deep Diving was where it was at. Merchandise sales, if you look at the numbers, Dynasty Champions up at the top. So the podcast, the merchandise sales, and just the overall recognition the Dynasty Champions have. It's an essential part of this league, and I think 2020 really highlighted that.
Is there still a little tension between you two?
I'd say we're still like pretty good rivals, especially where his team is at right now. It would be very painful to lose to the Dynasty Champions. I mean, thankfully nobody had that honor last year. But yeah, I mean, I'd say there's still a little bit. Like, if I had to pick like a little like rivalry matchup, Scott and I is a good one to, and I guess I kicked all that off by issuing the bet to start. But it's been a good, one-sided rivalry since then.
He's an okay owner. He's all right, but I think that bet could definitely happen again in the future.
Do you remember what they were head to head?
They ended up facing off in the third round tiebreak. But despite that, they didn't count the results of that.
Interesting. Scared money right there.
Since we played each other in the third place game, that kind of ended up being like the bet. So, because I think the victory from that was like $100 or something. So it's kind of funny how it ended up there.
We ended up tying because the stipulation was regular season record, and we did end up tying regular season. Now he ended up, if I remember correctly, he came back on me. I was ahead. Well, I want to say it was something crazy, like with 2 games left, I was up 2 games, and I ended up losing 2, he ended up winning 2. That may not be exactly right, but yeah, I'll take a tie. Unfortunately, he got me in where it mattered most in the third place game, though. Stephon Diggs decided to put up like 50 points to get him that third place victory.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the right decision, but I think the better question there is why did Scott mortgage his entire franchise just over a $100 bet? It's only one buy-in, Scott. What are you doing? Ask yourself, in the end, was it worth it? I guess on principle, maybe, but yeah, in the end, I think that even though Alex and Scott didn't have to pay anything out to each other, I think Alex won the bet because he basically forced Scott to mortgage his franchise in order to have an even split.
No, I definitely disagree with the call. I think you got to give the fans what they want in a playoff to decide the season-long bet. I think that would have been amazing. It's great that they matched up, and so I think they needed to say this is it. Like, this is the tiebreaker, because like, what better finish could you ask for, really? So I think they should have gone ahead and let the playoffs determine, who really was the dominant team, compared to one another. So I think that would have been really fun to watch. But maybe them holding off will make it come back again. I don't think it would be next year, though. I have a favorite for that one, but I would like to see it again in the future for sure.
Oh, no one paid? That's worse. The fact that they made a bet and then they didn't resolve it, they just resolved it into a tie, that's shameful. That's disgusting. That's why Alex Boydak has never won a championship. He's too weak like that. Doesn't have the killer instinct.
Well, they shake hands, say it's all good, make good with everything. What's going to happen when either of these two teams are in the championship game? Are they going to keep competing until the end when things get tough? If we're just shaking hands at a drama-filled bet during the regular season and we're just willing to give it up and be friends and be cool? What's going to happen in the championship? If you want to win a championship, you got to be a competitor, and you got to have a lot of hate in your heart for these other teams. And that's just what I have. Do you think if I made a bet, we're going to shake hands and not go through to the bitter end? Absolutely not. So learn from me. Don't make up. Take your rivalries to the grave.